Hello and welcome to Chartbusters. We got the big global event that's coming in later tonight where the Fed is expected to increase its interest rates. For the time being, though the other global markets are under some pressure, the Indian markets, resilient as ever, more or less flattish, and the mid-cap index doing a relative outperformance. With Mangalam, let's get straight to the top stories.
Let's do that as we wait and watch for what comes out of the Fed. We have our own trading session to deal with. First up, frontline indices give up opening gains ahead of the all-important Fed rate hike decision later today. Banks slip, FMCG and healthcare trade higher. Mid-caps outperform. Frontline indices absolutely flat.
Mahindra set to acquire a 17.5% stake in Swaraj Engines for nearly 300 crore rupees from Kirloskar Industries. Stocks of Swaraj and Kirloskar surge in trade.
Big block deal in Triveni Turbine. The management of Triveni Engineering confirms that the company has sold its entire 21.85% stake in Triveni Turbine. 11.85% stake has been bought out by fund houses. The remaining 10% has been picked up by the promoter entity.
The RBI dropped Central Bank of India from the PCA framework. The lender can now carry out branch expansion and increase the loan growth. The stock surges. The MD of the bank will be joining us in a short while from now.
All right, with that, let's go straight across to the first corporate that we've lined up for you on the show today. Paint manufacturer AkzoNobel sees a revenue growth of over 35%, rather volume growth of 35% in the first quarter. The question is what happens from here on itself, where, towards the end of the second quarter itself. Rajiv Rajgopal, who's the managing director at AkzoNobel, joins in to tell us more. Rajiv, always a pleasure speaking with you. AkzoNobel, for the benefit of our viewers, sells decorative paints under the brand Dulux. You probably know that a lot more than AkzoNobel itself. The first question, Rajiv, is if you can comment on inflation itself. Is the worst behind you? By when can margins increase? Because I'm not sure if you took a price hike in the first quarter. All of last year, you took a price hike of what, 21, 22%?
Good morning, Mangalam. Thank you for having me on your show. Good morning to all the viewers. Yes, so to start with, last year we had almost taken a price increase of almost about 23 to 25%, depending on which categories you talk about. This year too, we've taken price increases. Yes, we've taken price increases in August and September, about 0.5% each. And we have seen, so in paints there are two parts, both in paints and coatings. There is one, the raw material inflation, and second, there has also been the forex, the currency fluctuation, because we buy in dollars, etc. So I think a combination of both has to be understood, and we've got to tackle it. As far as we are concerned, I still maintain that it will take a couple of more quarters to really see the softening in, coming in really accretive from a margin perspective and from a P&L perspective. So we are still sort of measuring ourselves. We are taking necessary actions both on cost and on value creation to make sure that we are able to deliver strong results.
All right. Hi, Rajiv. Good to speak to you as always. Nigel on this side. You said a couple of more quarters. In the past, you'll have done mid-teen margins. That's that 15 to around 17% odd. Quarter two should see pressure. Quarter three, maybe we give you one more quarter. But by quarter four onwards, do you think margins in excess of 15 to around 17%? Should we look at that band?
I think that's a fair estimate, Nigel. Yeah, you're right. The current and the coming quarter would still see a bit of volatility. But I think by the end of the year, which is the fourth quarter of the year, and thereon, we should start seeing a bit more stability. Now, this has a major assumption, which is that the external world continues to now sort of start seeing benign inflation, etc. Yeah. So keeping that sort of assumption in place, yes, I do see that margins will significantly improve from the fourth quarter, and that's what I've been maintaining over the last few months.
15% by quarter four?
So we don't give, but that benchmark and the band that you've given should sort of be around the band that we would operate in.
All right, 15 to 17% is the band that we'll take note of. 35% of your revenue does come in from the industrial vertical out there. Can you give us a sense of whether there have been price revisions in that vertical? Because, when prices are rising, that's the one that gets hurt more because price revisions come with a lag. But at the same time, when prices start to cool off, that division tends to outperform in margins because, again, revisions happen with a lag.
That's correct, Mangalam. So, as you rightly said, it obviously takes a while for the prices, our customers, etc., to understand. And obviously for us, the price increase to start really getting material. We've seen price increases in different segments, be it in powder, automotive coatings, or in marine and protective. But that's the one which has been a bit of a laggard on pricing. So you're right. So as and when, because even we don't really see it completely in now, as and when we start seeing the margin pressures cool off, you would start seeing an improvement in the industrial segments. That said, I think on the industrial segments, what is most encouraging is the sort of growth that we are seeing. And we are not seeing it now. We've been seeing it for quite a number of quarters. And what I love about the growth is that it's very uniform. It's coming across all the sectors. And it's in a way good because, we get a sense that, it's reflective of the country. It's reflective of the GDP growth of the country. So we see a good uniform growth coming too.
All right, Rajiv, give us a couple of more numbers. What is the volume growth target that you have for this year? And, the last few quarters actually have done quite well. I'm reading a brokerage note where they say that your market share has been increasing in the decorative segment, I think so. Give us an update on both those fronts. Volume growth target for this year. And what about your current market share? And have you gained even in this quarter? Go ahead.
So Nigel, we, as you know, we don't give specific numbers in terms of volumes, etc., the way we are. But, suffice to say that we are looking at strong double-digit growth. What do we give targets on? Our intent is now to start really being material in the industry and really start being in the top 3 in terms of growth, both in terms of volume and revenue growth as we start moving forward. So that's really what you started seeing. Yes, we've gained market share in the decorative paints, something that we want to consolidate and build on. Remember, when you look at decorative paints, we've got a very high share in the premium. So when you look at brand Dulux, we've got the Dulux Velvet Touch advertising going on. We've seen across all the channels, etc. So, that's a brand which has really revived very well, doing very well, having strong demand. Similarly, Dulux Weather Shield, which is our exterior brand, is doing extremely well. So, our endeavor has been to really, how do you gain across in the mass market where we are slightly underrepresented historically. And that's not just because of the brand, it's also distribution. And that's where we sort of outlined a distribution strategy, clearly attacking smaller towns. I think what I like about the last few quarters is we are seeing some green shoots in the rural markets while inflationary pressures continue. And that's where we've made a couple of launches this year in some of the segments, particularly in the undercoats, primers, etc., so that we are able to get, a balanced growth across all the sectors and, tier towns.
Take that point, Rajiv. You plan to expand distribution to 35,000 dealers over the next 3 years from 20,000 that you have right now. You also earlier had said that contribution from smaller towns was earlier 45%, now, targeting to increase to almost 50-odd%. But my question is, with regards to ad spends, 6 to 7% of your sales is what you've been typically spending on advertising and marketing. Now you want to become a mass market brand like you're talking about. You want to be the number 3 player from number 4 that you are currently. And at the same time, you're talking about margins expanding to that 15 to 17% band also going forward. So how does that happen? Do you spend more on ads from here and maintain the margins in that band? Or at the same time, you continue to increase your ad spends at the cost of margins at some point?
Yeah, so, now it's going to be what I call triple play. So you've got to start increasing the, work on advertising. We actually spend 3 to 4.5%, not 6%. Our endeavors to come to 5 to 6% on terms of advertising. And you started seeing that. I'm sure you've all seen the advertising. It was even seen during cricket, etc. So we are there now. We are back on the face. We really want to make the brand, get the brand and the consumers to endear to brand Dulux. Coming to the, the work, look, there's a lot of work happening on value creation. And we are working on this. We have got a lot of support from our R&D, and we are looking at strong value creation. We are also looking at productivity very, very strongly. Yeah. And those are the measures. For example, in our factories, we put a huge amount of automation, IoT, etc. So with that, we should start seeing also sort of the margin, flow improving.
All right, Rajiv, very quickly, you're at number 4, right? You're looking to get to number 3. What's the difference between, that spot right now?
So look, in paints is very close because remember that the number 3 player has a higher representation in coatings. And let's also understand that we've not made any acquisitions ever since, acquired ICI. I think, in a couple of years, we should be there. I'm hoping it's faster, but our endeavor is that, look, at least come close to a 5,000 crore in a couple of years. And I think we are on the right trajectory. We've got a very ambitious internal target, and we are working on that right now, Nigel.
All right, take that point, Rajiv. Thanks a lot for joining in and giving us all those details about your business. As we speak, wish you good luck, but bad news comes at the time right now as we speak. We did have a flash which said that comedian Raju Srivastav has passed away at the age of 58. A person known to bring a lot of smiles to a lot of faces his health condition had worsened after he met with an issue which was basically he had some sort of concussion or something, Nigel. Extremely sad. Was known a lot for his observational comedy.
Well, strength to his family and condolences from all of us here at CNBC-TV18, and may the departed soul rest in peace. For the time being, we'll slip into a short break, come back, continue our focus on markets.